let's watch Asmongold, my plans moving forward.
Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you all about what my reason was for getting suspended on Twitch and also what my plans are going forward. And the first thing I want to start off with is something that I know it might sound a little bit insincere because of how ridiculous this is, but I really mean it, and if you listen to the whole video, I hope you can see why. Everybody who's come and spoken out and talked to me and said stuff about me, aside from the, oh, you should kill yourself or something like that, I want to say that I really appreciate you. And I think this has been something that's a long time coming. And I actually think that this is something that not only I deserved, but it's also something that I needed. And I want to talk about what the reason for that is, but I want to start off and just make sure that that's actually very clear.
You want to know something controversial that I'm going to say that everyone's going to get mad at me about? I don't think this is specifically because he got yelled at and he got banned. I do legitimately think, I mean, he's a very weird guy, okay? Asmongold is a very weird guy. I don't think he's being insincere when he says, like, I have changed my mind on this. We'll see. Only time will tell. And this doesn't mean that his mind has changed on, like, LGBTQ representation in video games or any number of different, like, right-wing things that he says on a regular basis. But on this hyper-specific note, he might actually have a different perspective. Only time will tell, but let's continue.
So a couple of days ago, I made some comments about Palestine and also about Hamas and, some just general, basically opinions that were trivializing the genocide that's happening there. And I don't really want to, like, mince words or, like, try to, like, oh, I wasn't justifying or, promoting it. I said something about it that was disgusting. I said that I didn't care about.
He admits it's a genocide. Yeah, that's the reason why I'm saying it's like a very weird opinion that he had that he said over and over again, while he also simultaneously does recognize what Israel is doing. It's just weird, man. It's incomprehensible. It's indecipherable.
I mean,
okay?
It is also like he went like more than overboard. You know what I mean? Like it's like I'm sure that like the back channel stuff that he's been getting has been like really substantial. And yeah, I mean, I don't think any of this is insincere in the same way that like when you touch a hot stove, you don't insincerely scream, ow, even though you maybe knew it was hot. Just there's a pretty easy to see consequence coming from this.
I think he's dialed in on Reddit a little like I think this is when you read it too hard. I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going.
Innocent people getting killed by another force, by anything. And I think that that's a horrible, disgusting, mean-spirited thing to say.
The comments about you on his subreddit and his video are despicable. Yeah, dog, they don't like me. What do you mean? Dog, virtually every single person, if you're of one mind, when you see like LGBTQ representation in media and you get upset about it, outflanking Asmongold in many instances or having the same opinion that he does on a lot of these issues, you are not going to like me. There's nothing I can do about it. There's a lot of people that are not exactly fond of my worldview and the things that I actually represent. Hasan says the most unhinged stuff on... What the f... Why is this the first comment? Bro, what? Okay, that's weird, dog. He has a apology video for 20 minutes and the first comment is Hasan with a double S. Says the most unhinged stuff on Twitch, but never gets banned. First of all, I have been banned.
That's good, man.
I have been banned. I've been banned more times than Asmongold. The fuck are you talking about? I got banned for saying racial slurs. Crap was the racial slur that I said, and I got banned for it. Did you know that?
I think I did, actually. Of course I did, yeah. Third comment was a clean the room stream would be the most viewed thing of all time.
I mean, that is true. He has done that before, I think.
And well, yeah. I think that my problem and my fault here was that I was making a criticism of religious extremism, and I made no effort. And I feel like almost I've rewatched the clip, right, or a number of the clips, and it's like I've almost made an effort not to draw a distinction between the two things. I think that a lot of us here can easily say that we're against religious extremism, and I am. But whenever I categorize everybody in the area as this like group, then I'm the
Bill Maher comparison really is kind of apt. Because like he's
Yeah.
basically saying like I didn't do the Bill Maher exception.
Yeah.
I didn't say
I think that's what
religious extremists.
No, I think that is literally the problem. He reddited too hard, and I think he went Reddit on main, and people were like, "Yeah, what are you doing?"
Oh, that Reddit post looks not good.
Yeah, we'll look at that in a second. And the reality of the matter is, there's like a permissible. I always talk about permissible bigotry. There's a level of permissible bigotry, especially when it comes to Muslims, especially when it comes to Arabs, that you can get away with. The problem, however, is, if you go beyond that, people are going to be like, ugh, even people who agree with you are going to be like, ugh, that's a bridge too far. And I think that's the mistake that he made. He like repeated Reddit stuff, and Reddit is insane about this kind of thing. And Bill Maher, on the other hand, never takes it to that degree where he doesn't like openly say, these are all barbaric
Bill Maher comes
monsters.
at it from like, not just like Reddit atheism, but like, he's the guy who made like Religulous like 20 years ago or whatever. Like he's been beating this fucking,
he loves Israel.
He's been beating this damn drum for many, 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 many years. And so he kind of has, I think, just a more refined sense from years of practice on Club Random, years with the blade. He knows how to wield it.
I mean, a lot of the space that those guys occupy, like the new atheists that they occupy, is basically just like giving a permission structure to liberals to also be like gross, disgusting monstrous pieces of shit about Muslims in general. It's a way to like intellectualize bigotry.
Yes.
I think this has been going on now for like 2 years. I think that I've been slowly devolving into the most mean-spirited, I don't really even know what the word is for it. Just like the most mean-spirited, rude, like nasty, like just callous, psychopathic version of myself. I think that I've been devolving into this. And a lot of my
sorry, that's like the funniest thing to say with like
bad.
that.
I mean,
well,
it's
no,
good
just like no, but it's so
self-awareness.
funny to say that like in that room.
I know, but it's a decent amount of self-awareness. I think
friends
I
have
like
told
it.
me this.
I don't disagree with
maybe
the
just
sentiment. It's just the comedy of it is like
I know
a little
my
much.
tolerance for seeing this
It's like
is so much worse than yours.
I want to like look past it, but I kind of can't.
My dad has told me this. He said, you've got to chill out. You've got to calm down. I've been like, oh, that old man doesn't know what he's talking about. And I've finally had some
Oh,
level...
Asmon's dad is a fan of mine, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I called and I heard some voice in the background. I assumed my dad was watching my stream. He was watching his son. He was watching his son.
And apparently they like duke it out all the time on politics. So that's like an interesting dynamic.
accountability for that.
Rock on.
And thank God. I look back...
Also, I'm sorry. This is, in this Space Ace is correct. This is exactly how Karl Marx lived. We know this because there are a couple really big
spying
agencies were in utter shock at the filth that he lived in.
The thing to remember is that like one, it was the 1800s.
Okay,
like pasteurization was like like a concept then, like they were still working on, and the other thing is that he was a social dude. Like he went. Like, that was always the part of why I gave him a pass on that was that like. He was having like drinking parties and carousing with other people and what have you. And so like, yeah, he lived like that, but it's because he was out doing stuff, not like, like he wasn't
piping. He was, yeah, him and
Jenny.
Him and Engels.
Oh, him and Engels out on the town.
At some of the things that I've said and done over the past 2 years. And I don't think that I've been wrong about everything, obviously, right? But there have been ways that I've communicated and ways that I've acted that are indefensible. And I think looking back on it, it's just disgusting. And it's something that when you get lost in the sauce and you get fixated around like listening and reading feedback and, just getting hyper fixated, this is like your entire life, you lose a perspective on reality and you lose a perspective on the world. And I think that perspective was brought into perspective yesterday and the day before when I was making comments like this. And I feel so stupid. It's crazy. So I'm getting all these people making negative comments toward me. Everybody is telling me like, oh, go kill yourself. I hate you. Everything like this.
Yeah. When was it when was it when Lil Bear, you got to find this clip. The first time I said Asmon's not going to like doing political commentary streaming, because it wasn't the first time I ever said it was during the Johnny Depp stuff, but that wasn't when he fully became a political commentary streamer. He started doing political commentary streaming this past year, and I said he is not going to enjoy this at all. You have to have either full-blown sociopathic tendencies or at least like genuinely believe the cause that you are advocating for to stick it out for this long, or just have like nothing else going on. And for Asmongold, he has something else going on. Like he could just play WoW and just I don't know, play video games and talk about like some of the cultural stuff in video games from a right-wing culture war perspective. But like the moment that he starts leaning in to like straightforward political commentary, watching like a RFK speech or something and calling him based or whatever, that's when you have fully dropped yourself into a treacherous space, a very awful space. He likes it. You are wrong. I feel like he's literally saying I've become a psychopathic version of myself that I do not like for the past 4 minutes. I feel maybe I'm wrong, but you know, overall, I always look at the situation like this and think to myself, like, what do you stand to gain from apologizing versus especially if you have such a primed right-wing audience.
Oh my God.
You don't stand to gain anything from apologizing, really. You stand to gain, you stand to benefit from doubling down and just like making,
especially in today's environment, double down, ignore, move on, switch to the next thing. Every incentive is there. I mean, it's, if anything, it's okay.
Let's continue.
Do you know who reached out to me? And they wanted to talk and have a conversation and see if I was okay. It's people that were Islamic and people that were family in Palestine. And how humiliating is that? How absolutely humiliating is that? And these were the people I was trying to say were bad. And I feel like such a stupid asshole. I really do. I've always been a, I guess like I've always been kind of like an atheist. And even as a young kid, I was raised Roman Catholic, and I was always very defiant towards it. And I've always,
when he said Islamic, he's not saying like he's trying. He means well.
Said a negative
he's
opinion
trying to be fucking weird.
And I've
and
also had a negative opinion of religious cultures. And I think that really, I think that opinion is definitely shaped by the media that I've created, and the media I've created for myself, and then also just the media that exists, the media that I've chose to seek out as well. And I think that media has allowed me to have certain predispositions and certain biases that the truth is that don't have any sort of relation to what my own real life has been experienced, or my own real life experience has been, excuse me. And so I've been spending a lot of time talking to those people, and I've seen people like fans of mine, like I had viewers messaging me on Discord, like, you know, why are you saying this? Like, do you want to talk? Do you want to, like, you know, I'm willing to talk to you, and like, you know, like let's try to work this out, right? We love you. And I scrolled up on their messages, and these are people that messaged me in like 2016, 2017, 2018, like, I love your content, I love your stream, I love you, right? And now they get to hear this from me, and I just feel like such a stupid, belligerent fucking asshole. I really do, and I'm sorry. I really am. I think that it's extremely fair to criticize religious extremism, and I think that it's extremely unfair to categorize everybody in part of that group as religious extremists. I think it is, and I'm really sorry for that. I've just been a dick, and it's weird because yesterday I woke up and I didn't know if I was going to get suspended or not, and I had planned on streaming and everything.
Apology.
And,
I mean, he's doing that thing where he's slicing it so that it's about the religious extremist or not. But like he talked about like fans messaging him, people who had been streamers, people watching his stream for like 8 years ago, who are now like, why would you say this? Why would you do that, etc. And I mean, it's like I'm like I said, I'm curious to see where he goes.
I'm not surprised by this. But I wonder if, like, for the uninitiated, they might be surprised by it. But also beyond that, I do think that there will be still a ton of people who will, of course, understandably say, oh, he's doing this to save face. or understandably say, oh, he's just like, he's not being sincere, or understandably say, I still don't accept it because what he said was unconscionable. I've seen like, you know, children in plastic bags, like their destroyed bodies, their mutilated bodies being shoved into plastic bags with their parents. Like when you see that every fucking day for the past 12 months, like it changes your perception a little bit when you hear someone reiterate the same exact indifference that people have to that kind of death and destruction, or even, dare I say, champion it. It's gonna happen no matter what. The problem that a lot of people, I think, don't recognize, like when, you know, people that do commentary or people that are influencers don't understand, is that like that's gonna happen. You just have to stay true to your perspective regardless. You have to be unshakable and unflinching in your framework. If you think that you fucked up, it's always good to try to understand and empathize with why people are yelling at you in that moment, and maybe try to figure out like what you may have done wrong. And I think he's doing that here. So we'll see. Once again, only time will tell. Only time will tell.
Yep.
But this is it's interesting because like his audience has he's the iDubbbz phenomena here. Like when iDubbbz came out and apologized, that was like very heartfelt. Took years for him to get to this point, but ultimately I think his audience is not going to respond to this kindly. They will not.
Is his audience that right wing now?
What?
Is like his audience that right wing now? Because I just
dude,
know
his subreddit is so bad, bro. His subreddit, like there are just like straight up 4chan, 8chan takes in there, like in mainlining it.
You know what I blame? I blame Blizzard. They need more content. Get this man back to wowing.
Yeah, that's what they did. This is Blizzard's fault. Let's continue.
This is going to be kind of the second part, by the way, of the video. Comments that I made were pretty much about religious extremism. I think it's bad, but I've categorized a lot of people in that way that was unfair. It's wrong for me to have done that. I said something that was bad. I should not have said that. I should have chosen my words more carefully. I didn't do that. I doubled down on it. I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. That's pretty much, I was a fucking asshole. I was a piece of shit. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say. And so, actually, I do know what else to say. I don't like making apologies because I think words don't matter. But I do think changed actions and changed behaviors do. And so you can take my apology as hopefully better content. And if you're not seeing that, I want you to hold me accountable. Hopefully this time I won't be stupid enough to ignore it.
Is that water?
That's pretty dry.
So, man.
No,
Anyway,
it's
that
probably
was
not.
like the worst. That was like, do you remember the Marco Rubio water? Do you remember that? He like he delivered the response to the State of the Union. He's like in the middle of, you know, he's like delivering his, like just in the middle, like, and everybody, it was, you know, because this was
my
like
my man was thirsty.
because this was like a more innocent time. That became the news cycle.
In the short time that I've been here in Washington, nothing has frustrated me more than false choices like the one the president laid out tonight. The choice isn't just between big government or big business.
That was a news cycle. That's what used to pass for a news cycle.
Yeah, it's times have changed. Let's continue.
For the past, like, I would say like 10 years or so, if you look at my life like this, I would have said 10 years ago or maybe 8 years ago, streaming was like this, right? YouTube was like this. And now I would say that my life and streaming are basically the exact same size. And what I mean by that is that streaming is my entire life. Doing this is my entire existence. And I think that the process of that has been extremely unhealthy for me. And I
Take a break. Us chuds will be here waiting for you to make streaming great again. Don't worry. I'll react to DEI equals die gaming video first day back to stream. Thank God. I hope this side of you never change. All right. I'll look at what his statement on Reddit was. Okay. But
I
let's
think that
continue.
what it's done is that it's allowed me to become such a one-dimensional person that
Thank God he's going to keep doing the DEI stuff, though, because I was a little worried. That's my favorite content.
He's pro DEI, right?
Yeah. He wants.
I think that ever since I started like OTK and I got involved with that, and then we had like other Starforge and like Mad Mushroom and Mythic and everything, like honestly, it's been too much for me to handle. And
Muslim revert arc incoming. Yeah, he's going to say the Shahada.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah. He's gonna do he's going to the Hajj, dude. He's going to visit the Kaaba, and he's reverting to Islam. Brother Asmon, he will He will see Jenna.
There have been things that I've done that are positive as well, but I think that one thing this thing has taught me is
from Asmongold to Asmongold.
everything about my life is basically and I'm going to take a step back from all of that. I'm going to step away from my leadership position and OTK and Starforge and everything. I want to, and they're fine with that. They respect that, and I want to do this. And I want to do this not only for them, but mainly for myself, so I can be a better version of myself for everyone.
He really has two paths.
I want to apologize to all you guys,
Islam,
my
or
viewers.
like the Jordan Peterson thing.
When you enter this field with like very obvious like political perspective, you automatically are going to have people not be charitable to you. And sometimes you're gonna say things that that don't deserve any charitability anyway. And he did say something that like went above and beyond. And when you do that, it is going to inevitably start eating away at your consciousness. I see myself as someone who always tries to balance themselves out by like hanging out with normal people, going outside. A practice that some of my haters have considered brown facing. Did you see that one?
What?
This was really funny.
What? Because you get like a tan, and that means you're doing brown face
dude,
by
look
being
at
outside.
Look at. If you want to understand the mentality of like,
I think
Fareed's,
Hasan has been trying to make himself browner for his audience, performing brown face through lighting or filters. Turkish people are always brown to me. I'll let you know. You'll always have always have your back
man.
on that.
I say I'm white. I consider myself to be white, and I think part of that is because like as a socio-political construct, like growing up in Turkey as a Turkish man, there was no like I was not a part of like an out group, you know what I mean?
Also, like America is like one of the countries where like race is like so publicly constructed along the color line. You know, like it's a pretty like it's which is why people are going insane, as evidenced by.
But this is but this is like pretty funny that this guy basically was just like, I don't know what it looks like when someone goes outside. Like only this is like an admission.
I've spent a long time growing up. The time I did, I was an r/atheism enjoyer. I have a very negative opinion of a lot of religions. I've had the experience firsthand of the negative effects of Christianity and the way that I view that. And I've always read a lot of very bad things about Islam. And I've made
I've
a lot of
always read a
criticisms
lot
of
of
it.
very bad things
I've talked
about
to a
Islam.
lot of people about it. I've heard a lot about it, and I've been like watching things about it, and I've been like hearing people telling me this is the way it is, but I've never seen it. And I actually think that after all this, I think
He's
towards the end of next year, I think I'd like to visit
one. I'm happy to call that shot. This
Wait, what? He is.
Middle East and see it for myself.
He's gonna.
I want to.
Bro, he's reverting, dude. Shia Islam, though. Okay, not. I'm Sunni.
Yeah, none.
As a Sunni, I'm saying this. Okay.
You gotta buck the winning team, dog. Go Shia.
You gotta go Shia. Okay. You gotta go Shia Islam.
Yeah.
It's just like that's the way. That's
For
the
a
method.
historical perspective, right? I would love to go to Istanbul and Turkey.
Oh, he's getting a hair transplant.
Go!
Inshallah, brother.
Oh man, he's gonna be. Dude, when I went to Istanbul, I love going. Istanbul's like my favorite place. When I went there last time,
I can't go, but but hey, listen, I tell everybody if you definitely go visit.
well,
it's
no,
awesome.
I'm already visualizing it with the hair with the little pricks to re-stimulate those follicles. Like
he's
this
doing
man,
He's gonna go Turkish hairlines.
Oh, he's gonna go to hammam. He's gonna get the whole thing.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Osman Gold.
Asmongold, Lion of Wow.
No ulterior motive there at all. But
He's held his head. He's
just,
doing it.
I'd love to visit places like Saudi Arabia, Dubai, any of the other places. I mean, the truth is that, and this is the worst thing about what I said. Some of the places.
Yeah, bro's gonna go to Saudi Arabia and be like, I was right, actually.
Yeah, oh, wow. Yeah,
everything I said about Islam.
He goes to Dubai and he sees like 50 million slaves imported from Southeast
slaves.
Asia.
They have slavery. What is happening? There's other places you can go to, man.
Yeah, there's go to Cairo maybe. I mean, also not such a happy place, but like lots of Muslim people who live there who are not Wahhabist.
Yeah, dude. He's gonna, oh my God, he's gonna revert to Islam, and then he's gonna have to wash himself 5 times a day, dude. This is literally it's the perfect
the room
religion.
is gonna go very simple. You know, he's gonna have like
It's the perfect religion for him.
It's such a good arc for him.
It's the perfect religion for him.
I think I'm with this.
Oh, Osman Alton.
I'm going to try to like, I don't know, like clean up part of my house. I'm going to try to do this, and I'm not going to hire a cleaner. As I said, I was raised Roman Catholic. I view this as a penance. And I think I need to do this for myself. I need to take accountability for bad things that I've
Catholic,
done.
They also have
and
indulgences.
for letting my life get this out of control. And
I
don't need to get out of jail free card.
Meaning more just
so I need to
curious,
do that for myself.
I mean, if I'm one of his fans
for my
who
own
watches
closure
this,
as well.
and I'm not somebody who's like bought in on all the atheism stuff, but I was there because I wanted to see him do Blackwing Lair or whatever in WoW.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I wouldn't like. Granted, I'm fundamentally very skeptical of people, you know, changing their stripes and stuff in this way. But it's a hard public thing, and the people who do it successfully are usually like they're not initially very public about it. It's a thing that they become public about after they've done, you know, work in a private capacity or whatever, or, you know, learning or whatever.
But it doesn't even matter. Even if you do the work privately behind closed doors, and then the moment that you come out openly, people still, there's going to be plenty of people who don't ever, who will never look at you the same. They will be like, no, I remember all the shit that you said. Fuck you. And there's going to be a ton more people in your fan base that are going to be like, fuck you. You went woke. They transed you. They made you trans. They made you gender. And you just gotta push through it. Because I do think that genuinely, when you are honest with yourself and when you actually go through this change, internally, and you have this moral compass that you follow, you will literally be a happier person. You will be a liberated person. You will feel more free.
And that's what he's describing. You know, to be fair, like that is what he's describing here. To his, you know, like I think that like what he is saying aspirationally is the thing that like, yeah, you know, this was a wake up call. I should focus and do on other stuff and focus on learning and what have you, as opposed to being like a guy who, you know, like yammers without thinking necessarily.
Yeah. Do you think he will genuinely change his mindset? Only time will tell. The way I see it is, if you are very susceptible to the way the winds blow within your fan base, and they are overwhelmingly yelling at you to go in a certain direction, there is a high likelihood that you will want to go back to the comfortable territory, the comfortable waters of like being admired by your fans, rather than go through the initial treacherous waters of being hated by all of those people, because no one is going to be accepting. He wrote a post 35 minutes ago, I guess, or now an hour ago. Why apologize? Because it was R-worded to use Palestinians interchangeably with religious fanatics and terrorists. Obviously, not all people in Palestine are trash. It's really not that complicated. Also, it wasn't just that issue. Don't let yourself become ideologically captured by a worldview to the point where it makes you so unreasonable that you turn into what you're fighting against. No one wins when I stand behind a statement that's a false or a mischaracterization. My dad, HasanAbi head, it's true. That literally is true. Told me over a year ago I was getting too harsh on my stream, and I ignored him. Same with a lot of real life friends. I think I've just been increasingly more hostile and negative, and that brings a bad vibe to the stream. A good comparison: Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero playthrough versus Wulong playthrough. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I want more Sparkling Zero playthroughs, and I never want to play Wulong again. Wait, what?
I have no idea.
Wulong was amazing. What the fuck? Okay, that's the worst take I've heard from him this week, dude. What the Hey, yo. That's okay. Wulong, not Wukong. Oh, I don't know. I thought he was talking about Asman has tasted the politics viewer counts. He will never be the same. Yeah, I don't think he understands that he stepped foot into a very treacherous field, though.
There you go.
There it is.
There she is.
There it is. Thank you, Lil Bear. Lil Bear did it. The chronicler. A field that will not be kind to him. So, like, currently, gamers watching him do political commentary will go the distance, but I don't know if he'll want to continue it. Kinder than it is to you, lol. Yeah, but all I'm going to say is this space that I exist in is a very... Yeah, notice how this is from when I was covering the RNC and I look much whiter there. Maybe I was doing whiteface on that day. Very treacherous one. It's significantly worse. The vibes and feel of the stream recently has been a lot more tense, and a lot of that is my fault. If you think that means my first stream back is going to be playing Dustborn and promoting Sweet Baby, I think you'll be very disappointed. Okay, first of all, Dustborn is a banger. We played it for as much as I physically could without losing my mind. So that is a signifier that he's like still, he's not been captured by the woke mob.
He's not going to play itch.io games on stream. Let me tell you.
Sweet Baby Inc. is like is what a lot of these gamers hate because like they think that they're doing DEI to games. I'm not changing anything other than trying to be more positive and less mean spirited. Also, sponsor had nothing to do with this. Wasn't even the top 5 worst things I've said. I wanted to. It could be in the top 5.
I think context is a lot. Like, I think the reason people are super upset about this was that, like, you said this, like, the same week that, like, we saw somebody burned to death, like, in an IV, like, a 19-year-old burned to death, with an IV attached. Like, yeah. Like, that's what, like, it's, like, perhaps it's not in the top 5 worst things you've ever said. I hope that it is, for your sake. But, like, that's why people are mad. Anyway, that's an aside.
Hopefully, y'all can see how this really is a macro issue and not just this situation. My life has actually been for a while now, and I need to fix it. I'm a 34-year-old single man living in his mother's house with dead animals and garbage. Although I don't, quote, in air quotes, hate it, I don't want to die this way.
Have any feedback or questions? Ask.
Yeah. Based, I think you should buy a new house, man. Get a change of scenery. It changes your life. S-Man literally called me last night at 3 a.m. trying to convince me to move in with him, lol. So, yeah. He said this stuff. Yeah, he's got dead animals in his house. I think he I believe he uses rat as a alarm clock or something. That's what I've heard. I don't even know. Asmongold is like one of those people that people say shit about him, and I'm like, that's too far. Like, I can't in good conscience like believe that.
The thing is, I used to use a dead rat as an alarm clock actually for my stream, because basically what happened was, whenever the sun would come up, it would start cooking the corpse of the rat, and then it would start smelling again, and then the smell would wake me up.
And then he
be real. And then it's like, no, he did do that.
I live in the house with dead animals and garbage. Could be stuffed. He's in Texas, aren't they? They do that there.
We'll see what happens. We'll see where this goes. But I think his audience, for the most part, some will be receptive, some will not. But overall, I think like if you stay true to and if you're genuine about changing your beliefs and changing your opinion, then only time will tell. We'll see. I think especially on this issue, he will probably change his mind.
I still think we need him to do a travel stream to the Middle East. That would be incredible.
But isn't the DEI a sign he really isn't that interested in changing? No, I think he categorizes it separately.
Yeah, I think it'll baby steps surely, but also I think that for a lot of those people, it's like it's been so normalized to talk about DEI as like this nefarious, like left-wing culture eating thing, as opposed to just like a fairly generic office style way of talking about like inclusion. Yeah. Like it's like it's a bigger thing.
Yeah. We can't expect him to immediately jump to all struggles or one struggle. Yeah. He's not going to come back and be like, no war but class war, guys.
We are going to get third worldist Asmongold.
Yeah. He's coming back. He's coming back with a copy of Settlers.
No, he's going to come and he's going to start reading like Adam Smith in Beijing on his stream.
JD Pawn, Asmongold. Yes, dude. Permanent first world genocide. Okay. Unlimited first world genocide. If France Fanon. Yeah, he's gonna start calling America Maoist standard English. Shia Muslim leftist Asmongold, a man can dream. Yeah. I like that he admitted that the brain rot started him being an r/atheist regular. Yeah. Some of the really good parts of that apology that I do read as sincere for the most part, especially considering that he has no reason to cop to this shit at all, is once again like talking about r/atheism, talking about how like maybe he did Reddit a little too hard, and that how like his perception changed over the course of many years of doing this kind of thing, because no one is above being primed off of propaganda, right? And I think that there's no reason to cop to it. Yeah, dude? The reason why I said there's no reason to cop to it is because look around, dude. Look around the world. That is the same reason why I was trying to tell the white people that were yelling at me when I was talking to Asmongold and being like, why are you walking him through the steps of like what bigotry is instead of just like calling him a incel nerd who is a racist over and over again?
Yeah, why'd you talk to him? Why'd you dangle him out of a building?
Yeah, instead of doing that, well, why did I do that? It's because, one, there's plenty of people in his audience that might be more receptive to my way of thinking when I'm having a normal conversation with him. And also, beyond that, virtually every single person, if you step outside of like this community or any other community that you exist in online, kind of is on the same wavelength as Asmongold. Okay,
well, that's a good point about
to
like
varying degrees,
because the community part of it is where it's like you can spend. I mean, a lot of these guys like sort of, and I, you know, in general, I think like the right wing like pundit sphere on the internet or whatever. Like they're convinced that their audience is real life in a certain sense. Like there's like a, like, you know, I don't want to paint an over broad brush with that, but it does seem that like there's a degree to which like they start to develop senses of like what's normal, not just like, you know, what their own opinions are, whatever, but like what's viewed as normal by everybody else has become something, you know, dictated by, as he said, like, oh, like it's why he emphasizes the Reddit stuff so much in explaining like, why did I think this way or whatever. It's because he, you know, there are all these people with this kind of media diet, and he came to think that was normal, that all that bullshit was something that is just what people believe.
Yeah. I'm an Asmongold fan that just crossed over after seeing the debate I posted on YouTube, but wanted to get this out here as well. I've been a fan of Asmongold for quite a while. Despite him saying some things I disagree with, he'd say a lot of things I do agree with, and I've never watched you because the entire community seems to despise you and make you out as a ridiculous, inhospitable person. Well, he said something now that I could never agree with, and coming over here to watch this debate with him just completely shattered any respect or agreements I have with him, and you've earned a sub from me. I'm not really a leftist. I'm sure there's some things you and I also don't agree on, but I will never agree with the genocide of people simply because of what they do. The patience and knowledge you displayed here really won me over and even educated me tenfold on the humanitarian and geopolitical situation. And it angered me so much that no matter how long you stayed to try and convince him to help him see the truth of the matter, for 3 hours, he just refused to take in information, actually process and internalize it. I disagree. I think he probably did process it and internalize it, but that kind of stuff doesn't happen instantly, and it certainly won't happen online in front of cameras, for the record. That is the thing that you have to also understand when these conversations take place. It's not going to change anyone's opinion or attitude in real time.
That's a good point. Hollywood is like where that happens. Hollywood and like movies and television and like, you know,
Aaron Sorkin.
Exactly. Like that's where that happens. That's not real life. Like real life is you have these things and they accumulate. And then, by the way, a crisis or something that like shakes your understanding, a shock to the system comes. And that's what allows you to think, well, hold on, now I can have a perspective shift. Something like clearly this has not been working, so I've got to see things in a new way. And who knows if the new way he sees things is in fact new. But, you know, it is like, frankly, this is often the only way that people can change their attitude about things.
I can tell you actually deeply care about these things, but I didn't get that from him at all and just pissed me off. This is serious. People should care. Children are dying for no reason. If it were happening to us over here, you wouldn't actually care who your brother in arms was. You would support them and help them protect your children, home, and country. I truly hope he processes all these things and changes and comes to an honest conclusion, not one based on saving face or money. Congrats on the new sub, man. I look forward to more content from you. This was posted before the Asmongold's apology. That is, you know, that is why I do what I do, I guess, and say the things I say. And just even if you don't fully understand it, even if you don't fully recognize it, like there is a method to it, you know? Yeah, this is also a decent take from Juniper. This is unironically a major part of how right-wingers have been able to maintain social media control for a decade now. They encourage you to be a worse person by embracing genuinely evil traits about yourself and then reward you monetarily if you do so. Never apologize to the mob. It's like, dude, apologizing is not a bad thing, okay? It's not a bad thing at all. Growth is a good thing. And I think that a lot of people don't recognize that. And a lot of people on the left don't recognize that either. And I am not one of those people. We'll see. Like I said, time will tell. I'm not like, I totally understand it. People aren't like immediately rushing to forgive Asmongold for his statements or all the things that he's said in the past. That's not what I'm trying to tell you. I'm simply stating that my suspicion, at least on this issue, is that he probably will definitely have a most likely a real change of heart. Having said that, however, I'm sure that the DEI stuff will continue because I don't think a lot of people.
The DEI's die will continue until morale improves.
I don't think that people understand that like that is the vector of radicalization that sparks your journey. That is the start of this kind of stuff.
It is like
because That's why I always try to say, sorry to cut you off. That's why I always try to tell you, like, kill the reactionary part of your brain. Like, an example I can give you is Jank. An example I can give you is Anna Kasparian. Like, when you find yourself, okay, when you find yourself susceptible to right-wing framing on certain issues without thinking clearly through them, it's almost like a muscle. You're training yourself into basically subscribing to certain ideals or certain ideas or certain talking points without engaging in critical thinking. And it can be one vector of radicalization. It can be one thing, right? And that slowly but surely starts changing the way that you view everything. It slowly but surely starts helping you come to conclusions on every other issue. It might start with like the crime panic. It might start with you maybe having a traumatic experience with like a homeless person or something. Like with Jank, he saw like a homeless person and then he was like, that's it, I'm done, right? And then he started being like, no, we got to do something about this crime stuff. And then all of a sudden, even if you are a very progressive person, even if you've been a champion of progressive values for 15 plus years, 20 years at this point, you find yourself saying things like Gavin Newsom is releasing 75,000 prisoners in the state of California when that is obviously not the fucking reality, without like examining that statement whatsoever. And then slowly but surely, it actually seeps into other things that you might have believed in the past that you no longer are believing and that you are more primed and more susceptible to right-wing framing on, whether it's like trans stuff or this or that, like, and it slowly takes over your consciousness and it slowly but surely radicalizes you.
And it makes you, I mean, like, to me, like that radicalization, a huge part of it is because what's changing is not just like, oh, my opinion on the content of this specific issue, but it's the structure of your thought. It's the idea of, you know, it's like the cynicism and the expectation that like, oh, well, all people who are homeless and stuff, like they want to steal stuff and they're, you know, it's consequences of choices. And if you've now, you know, accepted that premise, if you've granted that, then you'll start like thinking about that same, you know, you'll like that same idea, like the same set of assumptions that you'll bring to that set of, you know, that situation will be what you bring to everything from, you know, trans people in sports and how that's just about people wanting to, you know, outcompete biological females or whatever, you know, something gross like that.
Yeah.
Like it's a very,
you will always, in the intersectionality of bigotry and the intersectionality of you know, oppression, there is always going to be something that kind of fits the bill for you. And the right very clearly and very deliberately go back to the drawing board regularly. I'll give you the issue of trans panic stuff in the United States of America, right? When they did the bathroom bill in North Carolina, everyone was like, that's weird and gross. What the f? And businesses were like, we're pulling out of North Carolina. Donald Trump was pro-trans at the time in 2016. He said, Caitlyn Jenner can take a shit or piss in whichever bathroom she wants to, right? Now, that seems like a lifetime ago. That was only 8 years ago. And now, if you look at the right-wing framing on this issue, it's dramatically different. So what happened in that time frame? Republican groups like, you know, Family Values Seminar or whatever, like all these fucking right-wing Christian nationalist groups, think tanks, looked at that situation and saw that that was not a helpful way to invoke trans panic, to create this idea that like, you know, trans people were this like nefarious force that was destroying society. So they went back to the drawing board and they tested out and focus grouped different forms of messaging. And they inevitably landed on something that was very successful. When you say trans people are you know, pedophiles or whatever, that is not a successful method to get normal people on board. When you, however, turn around and say trans people are indecently trying to destroy fairness in sports, a concept that Americans approach, a concept that Americans understand is like the only real meritocracy in the United States of America, sports, when trans people are actually, you know, transing themselves specifically to like win competitions. It sounds silly because it actually is silly, but that is something that you have to understand. Okay. That is something that you have to recognize that they are, the right is always looking for new ways of getting more people on board with their messaging and try to get people to see the world from their perspective. And they are doing it strategically. When something doesn't work, they turn around and change it.
Going to try to like
I gotta pee.
rethink my life. I have had a lot of people reach out to me.
I'm gonna show
people
off
I
my
would have never
posters.
expected reach out to me in ways that I never expected. As soon as I get unbanned, the best apology is better content, change behavior, and that's what I hope to do. So yeah. Anyway, guys.
This was a much more solid video than I expected it to be.
I agree, and I think it's because he didn't waste time trying to talk about like the particulars of anything he said, or even like, you know, what I meant to say. I mean, he said he tried to slice that religious extremism thing versus whatever about, but like it was also clear that like whatever this amount, like this volume that he got from these remarks. I mean, yeah, he's very explicitly saying like my life is I got to fix it, you know, and to me, it's like that's. Generally speaking, when anybody in an earnest, like if they're clearly speaking from the heart on that kind of thing, even, you know, no matter what kind of person they are, it is like somewhat moving because it's like, yeah, it's like somebody conceding that they're at some kind of a bottom.
Yeah, especially like I said, you don't have to do this, especially when you're Asmongold. You definitely don't have to do this, especially on an issue that a lot of people on the right universally agree with, and maybe even some people on the left, not left, but like liberals agree with, that like Islam is barbaric, and yeah, they do deserve like Israel punishing them for being barbaric.